I'm Christoph Haider. I'm German and I'm the president of the European Chamber of Commerce in Korea. So the European Chamber of Commerce in Korea, which is the full name, in fact we have about 370 companies as members. And those member companies generate a turnover of about 70 trillion Korean won and employ 50,000 people. So this is our members, but so we represent our members towards the Korean government whenever there are problems arising either to set up a legal entity or let's say if it's product imports, product marketing, product distribution, testing and so on and so forth. And we have close relation with the European Commission or European Union, represented here in Korea by the EU delegation. We also work together closely with the European Free Association. As I said, so the core business is advocacy. This is really where we work 80%, and this includes not only, let's say, putting recommendations on paper, but meeting many people. So, of course, we meet with European Commission, we meet with the EFTA guys, we meet also with WTO, with OECD, some function of the United Nations. Sometimes it's business related, not directly related, but indirectly related. So it's about human rights, it's about sustainability. So we cover really a broad area. So as we are small, as I said, we have 15 people as staff. So we also meet very often with Korean organizations like Korean Chamber of Commerce and Industry, like KITA, like FKI, like Korean Enterprise Federation, because we believe that collaboration really can move things forward. Secondly, we understand our role that we are also a bridge between Europe and Korea. I think this year, for example, we talk a lot about ESG. But also about climate change. So we need to find new solutions, and we believe that actually if the best from Europe, the best from Korea is combined, that we can succeed in overcoming these problems. We really believe in the potential of Korea, and Seoul as the biggest city in Korea is a perfect hub to start the business. You might know that the Seoul conglomeration, Seoul, Gyeonggi-do, etc. So there are about 25 million people living here. And this means that for many companies it's an ideal start, or ideal location to start business, because you can reach, with relatively low efforts, 25 million consumers. Another thing, what we always promote is it is so easy to set up a legal entity here. Secondly, Seoul Metropolitan Government provides a lot of support in terms of how to set up a legal entity, but also later on if there are problems arising, we have Invest Seoul Center, Seoul Global Center. There are many universities here, so you have a lot of access to very highly qualified people. So Seoul is a very outstanding place to start the business. Another thing, it's not specific to Seoul, but it's specific for Korea, is so you have here in Korea a very high affinity towards digitalization, new technologies. So as a company who is active in these new technologies, it is really a must. You have to be here in order to succeed and to further develop your business. Korea still has a relatively good GDP growth rate. Korean consumers are very much demanding in terms of product quality, service quality, etc. So it's really a benchmark, let's say, for European companies. They have to comply with it, have to fulfill these requirements from Korean consumers. And if they can succeed here, they can almost succeed everywhere in other markets. So another thing which is really outstanding is the digital affinity of Korean consumers. So, smartphone, now Seoul City has decided to go cashless on some buses, or let's say buses, there are a lot of electrical vehicle buses now, etc., etc. So there is a much bigger drive towards innovation in Korea, which makes it very attractive let's say, for new technology companies to come over to start their business. So there are definitely market chances for many companies who are not yet here. So when we talk, for example, with Estonia, we just had a meeting last week with the Estonian ambassador. So we would like to do a promotion event for Estonian companies to maybe start sooner or later business in here in Seoul.